I think you're going to find the rest of us coming at you lock, stock and barrel.
Now, if that wasn't inciting violence, I don't know what was. So I did my bit. I called the police. First, I just told them exactly what was... Somebody said all the things Jacki Lambie said. And I said, what can be done? The police said, you could get a restraining order on the person or this or that, and give me some information. Then I said, well, that person was Senator Jacki Lambie. You probably just should ring your PM then. That was the last bit of advice from the police. Just ring your local PM. I said, this is a police matter. She's inciting violence. It's Jacki Lambie. Of course it was coming from a politician. They didn't want to do anything. At the end of the day, they didn't want to. They didn't do anything. There, let it go. Go to your PM. Just goes to show there's one set of rules for politicians and a completely different set of rules for the people. Because at the end of the day, she was inciting violence between the unvaccinated and the vaccinated. She just said she's coming at us, or they are coming at us, lock, stock and barrel. That's guns. That's extremely violent. That's insightful. Now, it's even worse because Jacki Lambie used to be in the army. She knows the art of war. She knows how to use guns and organise troops. So that's, again, she's making threats against the Australian people. That's against the law. And she's inciting hate and violence. Now, when someone's organised a protest in the past, or someone simply posted that protest on their social media, had nothing to do with it, they've been arrested, charged, they've been put front page on the news, and made a complete fool of and fined. Yet someone like a Senator Jacki Lambie can say she's coming at us and everyone else hard, lock, stock and barrel. That's with guns. End of the day, she's coming at us with guns. It's creating separation and hatred amongst the Australian people. She's separating the vaccinated and the unvaccinated and threatening the unvaccinated with violence and guns. But listen to the entire interview and you'll see how she's inciting violence. She even admits during the interview that not everyone can get vaccinated due for disabilities or they're exempt for some reason. She knows that.
Cash incentives, where do you sit on this?
Oh, look, I'm not sure that will drive people to come forward, to be honest with you, the cash incentives. I say this to everybody out there, whether you're hesitant about the vaccine or not, I think with this Delta strain, you're just going to have to resort to the fact you have to be vaccinated. Otherwise, I think that, further on down the track, you are going to miss out on things. There are things that are going to come back to bite. I think it's about time that those people that do not want a vaccine put other people first and their country first and their children first and their grandchildren first. And this cash payment stuff, I just don't. You're either going to, if you're not going to get vaccinated, I don't think the cash payment is actually going to help, mate. But once again, we've got this Delta strain running around. It is going to get worse every day from here on in. The more people that we have vaccinated, the better. It's a shame that, those vaccinations weren't brought in and we didn't have them settled in the country 18 months ago and that 70 or 80% of us weren't vaccinated and people have had time to sit there the last 18 months and contemplate on this and let it chew at them while they're at lockdown whether or not they should be vaccinated. That's been the worst situation that we could have put ourselves in. So I'm asking people out there, do the right thing by your children and your grandchildren and your country and go out there as soon as you can. When you can get vaccinated, go and get it.
I just want to ask you about this story that's been published in the NT News today. It's the Central Land Council that's offering $500 to Indigenous Australians to go and get the jab. Now, since that's happened, the take-up has gone from 4 out of 200 people to 50%, so up to 100 people. So, I mean, in that instance, do you believe it can work?
Those Indigenous communities run very differently than the rest of the country. You'll find a lot of those smaller communities have not got work within them. They will take that money. There's no doubt about that. I'm just not sure it's going to work outside of those smaller Indigenous communities. Good on them for coming forward and them taking that money, if that's the way that they have to get those communities to sign up to it, because they cannot actually communicate and get it through to them. This is what needs to be done. But for the rest of us on the outside of those communities, I think we just do the right thing and do what's right by the country and get those jabs.
And what about just a final one on this point? When you get to that later stage, the hope is that we will accelerate towards 60-70% complete vaccination rate, and then we may start to hit hurdles as, you've got the anti-vaxxers who make up a certain percentage, then you've got a certain percentage of people who will still be hesitant. Will something be needed in that space towards the back end?
I think people are getting quite agitated right out there now outside, Pete, and those anti-vaxxers out there, that 20-30%, are the ones out there protesting on the streets and doing that sort of thing. I think you're going to find the rest of us coming at you lock, stock and barrel, and we're going to be putting the pressure on you fairly hard, because the rest of us that are trying to do the right thing by the country and our kids and get vaccinated and do the right thing, I think for you, we're going to start to get even more agitated, and we're going to start to get more hardcore, and I think that's what you're going to see, massive division out there, and it'll be us on the front foot. That's what I think is going to happen. I think the tide is going to turn on those anti-vaxxers out there, and you are really going to feel the heat.
Okay, on to the point of mandatory vaccines. SPC, the company, has decided to make all workers, or to ensure that all workers are vaccinated by November. What do you make of this? Is this something that you support, and should it go beyond that to all businesses?
As long as as long as they are medically approved to have one. There'll be some people out there that can't because of medical reasons, but anybody in that food industry that is around food should be having those vaccines. And you know what, I applaud SPC for having the courage and the guts to be the first ones to make the move on this, and I hope there's many more to follow. Good on you this morning. That is the way. Lead the way.
Okay, just